Okay, so we are going to start texturing on the blade itself, the metallic part. Okay, I say again, the leather portion can actually be viewed in the first video, which I will share after this. So usually for me, before I start working on the blade, I want to have a sense of direction, what kind of blade I want. Do I want something that is very much hand painted, or I want something that is very concrete looking, very dirty, very raw material? Not really rusty yet, but more like it's just came out from the weapon. But the thing is, the weaponsmith never go and polish it or stuff like that, so it looks very grayish and raw, So if this one on the right side here will be more polished, correct? So what kind of a direction do I want? So my concept art that I have is something like this, and it's a bit more clean. The center portion is gray, while the edges here are like silver. Unfortunately for us, Photoshop, you can't paint silver, you can only paint gray. So my base color in Photoshop, I was using blue, and now I want to change. I can just go back to my Photoshop, go down to that layer, try to recognize your image using the mask. That is a lot faster. Or you can simply rename it if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to just Shift Control U. That's a shortcut key to desaturate your color. Okay, undo. I'll show you guys again. Currently it's blue, right? Shift Control U to desaturate. Control U to turn on the saturation. Alright, that's the shortcuts. See what you want. Okay, I'm going to save over one time just to see if this gray is suitable for my blade or not. Reload. Looks okay. Looks better than the blue one, right? So next thing you want to do is once we have the color fixed, we want to add in the texture. So I'm going to open up my texture folder or my resource folder. Okay, I have all the folders all well named already. Go into matter, and because I want the matter to be very clean, I'm not going to use those textures that are too rough. If I were to use some of them, I might want to reduce the opacity. So things like this one actually not so bad. It's the textures are very fine. They are not really that rough. They are quite small. So yeah, I might want to use that as well. This one not so bad as well. This is nice. You can see all the scratches. So I might use this for my damage part. Okay, so I'm going to keep this in mind. So I think I'm going to use these textures. I like the grains, the lines here. Okay, I'll show you guys later how to make use of them. So I'm going to bring in, I think this is the one. Okay, I'm going to drag this in. Okay, it's not that difficult. You just go to your folder, you find a picture that you like, drag it into Photoshop and let it go. Okay, when you are in Photoshop now, what happens is that it might not be in the right layer, doesn't matter. You can always change it later on. So what happens is that you have this transform gizmo activated. All these points here, these are all the transform tool. So you can actually resize it according to what you want. But the thing is, if I don't hold on to shift, now I'm just using the left mouse to click on this. You can see that the texture is being stretched. You can stretch it very thin and stuff like that. But it's not a good habit to do it because all your textures information will be lost. So I usually prefer to hold on to shift and scale it. This way your textures will be proportionate. Okay, so let me just rotate. Okay, the reason why I rotate is because I want the lines. Let me just zoom in closer. You can see there are some lines going on here, right? I want the lines to be on the blade itself like that. I want it to be something like this instead of going this way. Okay, so put it in position, press enter. Okay, move a bit to the right. Okay, now the left side here is empty, right? So I'm going to hold on to alternate. Okay, hold on to alternate. Okay, my shortcut key not working already. Okay, hold on to alternate. Drag over. Wait. I I repeat again, sorry. Press V, make sure you are in the move tool, hold on to alternate, left click on the layer and drag it out. You actually duplicate the image, okay, or the layer. Now that I have two layers, I'm selecting these two layers on my right side, press Ctrl E, it will merge the two layers together. If you're not comfortable with shortcuts, select the two layers, right click, merge layer. Okay, it will combine them together. So after you have combined these two layers, the next thing you want to do is to mask it. So go back to my layer 1, currently it's hidden or you can't really see because it's underneath this texture layer. Control click on the mask. I repeat again, Control click on this mask. You will be able to select the outline. And once you have that selected, back to the textures, apply the mask. Okay, I hope you guys remember. This is the masking tool. Click on it, your mask will appear. Very similar to what you have. Okay, I applied the wrong layer. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to bring this below the gray portion. Okay, I want this part to be a different texture later on. I'm going to save over for now. Okay, I want to see if although the color is not the color that I want to use right now, this is lighter, this is darker. But I want to see if the texture is visible in Maya. Okay, you will realize when you're doing texturing, there's a lot of saving and going back to Maya to check. Okay, so currently this is the texture. I think some of the lines are not what I want, so I want to do some tweaking. For example, you can see that the lines are going in this direction and then a bit too parallel. So I'm looking for textures that are maybe going in this direction. Okay, so what I can do is back in my Photoshop. Okay, I'm going to adjust this layer, adjust the texture. But if I adjust, my mask will get affected as well. What I mean by that, I show you. If I press Ctrl T, if I move this particular layer, right, you see this whole thing will move out of place. I don't want that to happen. Okay, press Escape to exit the transform tool. I'm going to turn off the lock. You see this chain here? I'm going to turn it off by simply clicking on it. Once you click on it, okay, this layer here, you can actually adjust. So I can move around, you can see only the picture will move. The mask will not get affected. Okay, so Ctrl D to deselect, Escape to exit the transform tool. M to use the marquee tool. M is a shortcut for selection, marquee. Ctrl T to activate your transform. Right click, warp. Okay, you have these points, 9 boxes like tic-tac-toe like that, right? Now you can slowly click on them and actually deform texture. So previously your textures is like going in this direction, right? I can use the you can use the warp tool to help me warp these points down in a direction. Then your lines will be straighter. Okay, this way. But take note, the textures might get affected. Your pixel will be slightly blur, just a bit only, not a lot. Okay, I can compress the texture further. Enter. Okay, and then this portion here at the bottom, I see that my textures are going in this direction. Here is like that. Okay, what I want to do is I want to maybe do it this way. Okay, so this part here is a bit tricky. I'm going to just select this portion here, Ctrl T, rotate that texture. Okay, just move it. Enter. Same for this area here. Select a bigger portion, don't just select one small area. Control T, rotate, and enter. Now that one side is done, actually I can just duplicate this part over to the other side. Okay, same thing here. Press V for the move tool. Hold on to alternate, drag over to the other side. Okay, and that's it. Save my file again to check if the direction is what I want. Reload. I think it's good. Not so bad, still okay. Okay, now what I want to do is to change this color. Okay, I'm going to apply the textures onto the white or the so-called light gray. How I do it, I simply play around with the blending mode. Okay, the blending mode here. There will be some going back and forth. I'll be changing the blending mode between multiply to screen to overlay and to soft light. Okay, there are a few, and then I'm going back to normal again. Basically, it's because the texture that you see here, right, is very subtle. You can't really see it. So when I change the blending mode, honestly speaking, you can't really tell what is happening. Sometimes the textures might be lost as well. See, like for example, overlay and soft light, you can't see the textures anymore. But that could be the one that you want to use. That might be the correct one, because if I use multiply, my gray is supposed to be light, but now it's so dark. If I use screen, the gray is correct, but my texture is gone. Correct? So I need to actually do certain things to this texture so that the details are keep there, but the colors are also there. So I need to, in this layer, Control L, which is bring out the level. I want to enhance the texture. Okay, I'm going to squeeze out the details, but be careful, don't squeeze out too much. Don't press them. This is what happens when it's too much. Okay, so you only want the lines. For me, that's what I'm looking for. So once I have a very visible and obvious line, I'm going to stop. Okay, now there are some colors to it. I don't want it. So Shift Control U, Desaturate. Okay, this might even help me increase the information. Okay, another way to get back this kind of details, let me just undo a bit. I want the original layer. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this layer first. Okay, then this layer, I'm going to readjust one more time. Shift Control U, Control L. Okay, this is the original color. Keep the original in case anything happen. I can still go back to the original one. I'm going to use something called high pass. When I use high pass, you will realize the details, certain areas suddenly will be very strong. The edges especially. Okay, so what high pass do is that you will find the contrasting colors and then it will really split them out together. And most of the time, these are the edges, the scratches that we are looking for. And then I will use screen on top of my previous texture. Okay. I can also play around. If it's too strong, reduce the opacity. Okay, the layer for high pass don't need to be very strong. Continue with screen or maybe overlay, soft light. Okay, most probably overlay will be the one. Yep, something like this. Very subtle, not obvious at all. From far, honestly speaking, can't tell the difference. Then if I put it from far, you cannot see anything. Okay, but from when you close up, you'll be able to see some textures. So I save it, Taga. Okay, take a look. Now this is before, and this is after. Very subtle, but a lot of work to do, right? Just to get that subtleness. But not finished yet, Not finished yet, Still have to tweak a bit. Okay, open up my reference. Go back to my Maya and check. Now I'm going to think about how I'm going to tackle this blue portion here. Okay, I'm going to make use of another texture. Okay, I'll come back to this particular texture later on. I'll use this for my weathering. So I'm going to look for another similar texture that I can apply. This one looks pretty good, but the line at the center very irritating. So I'm going to check if I have a better one. This one looks not bad. Okay, I will use maybe, I think I'll use this one. Wow, conflict. I got two textures, I don't know which one to use. I think I will try one of them. If it doesn't work, I'll try the other one. I forget what's the name. Is this the one? Yeah, okay. Bring this to Photoshop. Drag and drop. Okay, so I'm going to do it for one side. Oh wait, before I do it, let me just fix the line over here. Okay, by the way, if you want to alternate and click on the eyes over here, right? If you click on this eye, you will only show this layer. Okay, if you alternate click on the eye again, okay, it will review all the other layer. But just take note, when you alternate click on this eye, right? Don't go and click on any other layers or turn on any other eyes, because you have to manually go and turn them on again. Okay, so just take note. So I off it. There's this very special tool over here called the healing brush. Okay, make use of it. Continue. How you use is basically when you turn on the brush, in that layer alone, I have to rectorize it. Okay, let me undo to explain to you a lot of things. So let me just go through one by one. When you drag and drop a particular layer, you have this icon, which will mean that this image is a smart object. Smart. Okay, smart object or smart layer, you can't do any edit to it. It's like fixed. I mean, if I do a paintbrush, you see, you give you a restriction sign, you cannot paint anything. It tell you that you must rectorize before you can continue. Okay, do you want to rectorize? Yes, okay. So when you do that, the icon will disappear. The other way is you manually right click, rectorize the layer. Okay, so now I can use my spot healing brush. Shortcut is J. Hold on to alternate to click on one spot. Okay, and then paint over the area. The computer will slowly go and clean up that area for you. And tada, before and after, gone. Last time, we have to use the clone tool, and it's not perfect. We still have to do a lot of cleaning up. But now with this tool, it saves a lot of time. So once it's done, I'm going to duplicate this layer again. Same thing here. Hold on to alternate. Okay. Control E to merge down one layer below. Okay, the seam line, not so obvious, so very good. I'm just going to keep it. I realize the lines going across like that. Maybe I want to rotate a bit. Yeah, maybe this way. Go back to this layer. Oops. Magic wand, select only the gray portion. and mask this particular layer. Okay, you can see I miscue, got gap. So turn off the chain, select the texture, move it up, close it up. Check the bottom part, see got any problem or not. This part here, never mind, because will be hidden. Duplicate this layer to the other side. Apply the mask. Okay, save the work, check again. Okay, so now you will see this portion here. This piece is actually a separate piece. This is a separate piece. Okay, but you'll be able to see that there's two color here and two different kind of flow of the texture. Okay, so that's how you apply your base texture. You also want to rename them properly so that you won't confuse yourself. Or the other way you can do is group them up together. Select all the layers, Ctrl G to group, double click and rename. Okay, the next thing that you want to do is actually things like weathering. So for weathering or for scratches, a few ways you can do it. One way is that you take the textures from the folder here, you extract out certain details and you apply to it. Or what I will do is usually I will block them out myself. So I use a red color, red because you can see very bright. Now I'm going to paint out those areas where I think I want to have some weathering happening over there. Okay, save it out. Go to Maya, reload. So those areas in red, not really blood, it's just to tell me where I want my weathering to be, where I want to have my scratches, rough idea only. Okay, so I think maybe this area at the bottom, I want to have a bit more. I want a bit more around the edges as well. Not right at the center, that's for sure. Okay, maybe some dirt at the center maybe, but I'm talking about scratches now, so yeah, just around this area will do. So I go back to my Maya. Okay, just dab a few areas. Okay, this is just to visually check. You don't want to go in and do the weathering on the spot. Okay, always do some simple blocking to check if the location is good for it or not, aesthetically. Also maybe this part I want just a little bit more. So yeah, don't use gray color lah, you. I use blue. Now you tell me blue bloody hell. Okay, there's no pink blood, so okay, pink. Okay, reload. Now looks cartoony. Okay, so after that, I can go in to add in some of the texture. So going back to my, just now I was looking at this texture, right? I said that this one not bad, so I'm going to use this, drag and drop over. Okay, I'm going to just put it on one side. Okay, right click, vectorize. Alternate click, only to show this layer. W magic wand, right click, color range. Now what color range is going to do for me is that I only want to take out the scratches. Okay, and the scratches is very specific, only that particular color only. So I will have to be very accurate and pick that particular color and play around with your fuzziness. Okay, so when you play around with your fuzziness, the value here will drop. Your color, the things that you selected, will also be more precise, more accurate, and limited. Duplicate that particular selection. What I have now is just the scratches. When I multiply, you can see the scratches coming out already. Okay, I'm going to mask, make use of this selection. Go back to this so-called pink blood textures and apply my mask on it. Okay, over here you can see the scratches coming out. If I find that the texture not so nice, I can actually paint further. Okay, I can go ahead and paint further if I want to lah. Okay, if it's not nice, then I will go back to my eraser tool. Okay, and then I will slowly erase it out. Either you erase or you use your masking tool, right, to go and reduce it. But usually I will use another kind of brush, okay, to slowly reduce it. Okay, for scratches wise, of course it's not going to be pink. So I'm going to use multiply. I'm going to reduce the color to something else, maybe black. Okay, then Control U again, colorize it. Okay, reduce the opacity as well. You also notice that it's very pixelated. So what I do is I will go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur by 0.1% or 1 pixel. Maybe not enough, maybe 0.5. Yeah, just a bit will do. Okay, I'm going to save over and I check if it's okay or not. Okay, so this will add a little bit of texture on your blade. If you want blood, also can. Okay, so for blood stain, what I do is I will drag and open it up as a new document. Okay, magic wand, right click, select only the red portion, increase my fuzziness, copy. Oh wait, maybe not. One more time, right click, 200%, copy, paste, Control T. Okay, I must find where I want to put. Just now the place like not so nicely. Okay, I'm going to try something like this first, or maybe I put it on the plate here. Yeah. Tip of the blade. Okay, multiply. Okay, if you want to have a dripping effect, another one, matter. Let me look for my water dripping. Ooh, I like this stain. I'm going to use this. Okay, magic wand, color range. I want the water droplet. Control C, Control V, paste it in. Control T, reduce it. Multiply. Okay, same thing here. I want to apply the mask. My layer are now all over places already. I have to clean up the layer later on. Save. Reload. Okay, so in terms of diffuse, this is roughly what you can do for your base textures and weathering. If you want to find out more about this kind of weathering here, okay, I will show you guys a video later on. Okay, I'm going to start the recording now. Okay, I'm going to stop the screening also.